time. It is time. It is time. Robin's your way here. I am here live, close, and in person. In effect, tonight, this is what we on tonight. We on, how banks actually decide your approvals. That's what we talking about tonight. So what I'm doing is letting a couple other viewers come in and that way they can let us know, or so that way they can get themselves situated, so they can get some funding, if you will. This is for everybody who's trying to really get to the bag, who wants to know, what the banks are talking about, how the banks are approving people. And that's the name of the game. What is really going on here? And so what I want to do is make sure that I don't leave anybody hanging and I give them access to what is happening. All right. So let's go ahead and jump right on in, right? If you're joining, I want you to stay tuned, stay involved, stay here, because what I'm about to break down tonight is what you really need. Most people in the industry would never tell you. They would never tell you, this isn't theory. This is how banks actually think. And once you understand it, it's on and popping from there, so to speak, right? Everything changes. So let me make sure everybody is settled in. Make sure everybody has a seat per se. I want to make sure everybody got access. If you're here on this call and you can hear me, if there's any issues, go ahead and comment. Like, I'm in. I'm ready. Go ahead and comment that I'm in and that I'm ready. That's what we want right now. We want to see those comments that I'm in and that I'm ready. That way we can make sure that you don't miss out on anything this evening for anybody that's in attendance. All righty. This is good. This is real good. All right. So again, we're going to talk about how banks actually decide approvals. And we're going to jump right on in. Most entrepreneurs never learn this, but it's not about your credit score, right? It's not about that. What it is, the simplicity of it is that the banks, they approve risk. Everything else is noise. They're looking at whether or not you're going to be reliable or not. That's what they really want to know. Whether or not you're going to be reliable or not. Okay? So let me make sure you guys get this straight and make sure that you understand that. Okay? Your credit score is a thing that's getting you approved? No, it's not. It's not your credit score. Okay? The banks are not approving numbers. What they're doing is they're approving risk. Now I know this all sounds pretty crazy, but really it's elementary, right? It's not about the score. It's really about whether or not you can show that you've spent some money and that you're reliable, right? But most people have never heard of this framed in this way, to where it's like it's not about your credit score, right? It changes everything. The score is just the door. It's just the entry. That structure is what really gets you through. It's not about your score. It's the structure that really gets you through. And most people that are standing at the door, right, they have no idea of actually what's happening. What it's really about your structure. Can everybody hear me? Is this thing on? Is there a problem right now? If you can put in the chat that you can hear me, appreciate it. Okay, good. So again, let's go back to it. It's really about your structure, right? It's not about your score. Okay, let's go ahead and get further into this real quick. All right, so we talked about it. Bank, they approve risks, and it's literally that balance. It's whether or not you're a low risk, whether or not you're a high risk. That's what matters. Are you low or are you a high risk candidate? Okay. What they're going to be looking at, right, is whether or not your structure is tight, whether or not you have any kind of experience. That's what they want to know, right? The people that's getting funded aren't necessarily the ones with the highest credit scores. They're the ones who built their profile the correct way. Those are the ones that are getting approval. You have to have your credit profile built the correct way. Okay. Now, when we get ready to walk through here, as far as like what's the risk, right? Let's look at it from the standpoint to where it makes sense to you. So, what the bank is actually looking at, and this is inside their decision engine, is whether or not your utilization is correct. How much of your utilization is available when it comes down to your credit. Are you using all of your credit? Are you maxed out? Even if you have a 690 credit score, you look stretched out. And those that are stretched out, they don't get any more money. And then they're looking at whether or not your inquiries is substantial on your report. How often are you actually applying? Every application that you do, it leaves a mark. Every application that you do leaves a mark. So don't forget that. It's really about your structure. It's also about your risk. Whether or not you are a risky file for them. Okay? Are you a risky file? Is your current profile on your personal credit score, are you maxed out? Have you spent too much of your money? Or what's available to you in a way of credit? That is the question. All right. So we kind of talked about it, right? You got your utilization, you got your inquiries. That's what the bank want to know. What's your relationship history? Have you been paying your credit cards on time for a period of time? On that personal side, how long you been in business? Have you been in business for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years? What's the depth of your profile? And then the consistency matters. Your income, right? How much income do you have coming in? Is it 15, 20K a month? Is it 10K? Is it a little bit of nothing? That's really what it boils down to. Now, you can have good credit, right? And you still get denied. And we talked about that, where if you have high utilization, that's not going to cut it, right? If you have high utilization, that's not going to cut it. What about if your profile is thin? What does that mean? Little to no trade references. You're not up to par there. Again, reminder, your score just gets you in the door. And that's why we're saying that you can have a good credit score, but that's not going to be the determining factor as to whether or not you get funding for your business. That's really not going to cut it, right? And we earlier we mentioned if you got too many inquiries, that's out. Some people are desperate. Some people are, shopping, so to speak. This is not an auto loan where you go and you try to apply for an auto and they shop you around and it don't affect you. This is serious business, right? This is business. We're talking about attaining business funding, business capital. So what they're looking at is whether or not you're out shopping, every day or monthly trying to get funding. And it's going to show in your personal profile, right? And then if you got no relationship history, like the banks can't verify as to whether or not, you've paid off stuff before, they're not going to do business with you. That's just the simplicity of it. That's just the way it works. So they want to know that, you got history, your utilization is low, excuse me. You're not out, running up your credit, trying to be on some desperate stuff, trying to apply for funding. They want to know that you're a responsible person when it comes down to being in business and that they can trust you and they can lend you their money, and that's why I use the terminology, what's your risk factor, whether or not, you are up to par when it comes down to your credibility. Okay. There is that surveillance moment when they're going to be looking at you in your profile to see whether or not, you're on point. And a lot of people just don't realize that's important. The banks is scoring you before you even apply. The banks are scoring you before you even apply. So every inquiry you've made, every balance sitting on your cards, every account age, every payment pattern, all of it is being read. So think about that. Before you apply, your behavior is already being evaluated. While you apply, every detail in your file is being weighed. And after you apply, right? After you apply, your pattern tells them whether or not you are a good candidate to ever approve you again. So something to really think about when it comes down to funding, making sure that your risk signals is low and it's not high. I could take you guys back so you guys can see exactly what I was talking about there, making sure your risk signal is low and it's not high, right? Because that's what the banks are looking at. Keep your risk low. You don't want to be considered high risk. You're not going to get approval. Okay. And then again, look at it from their standpoint. What's your utilization? Is your increase on low? Do you have existing banking relationships? What's the depth of your relationships with the profile that you have? Can you show history? Can you show credibility? And then what is your income looking like? Right? That's what they really want to know. What your income is looking like when it boils down to it. So remember that every inquiry you made, every balance sitting on your cards, every account age, and every payment pattern, it matters. All of it is being read. Okay, so before you apply, your behavior is already being evaluated. While you apply, every detail in your file is being weighed. Just don't forget that. Keep that in mind. Okay. And most entrepreneurs, what they're doing is they're flying blind through a system that's watching every move that you're doing. That's the reality of it, what's truly happening. A lot of entrepreneurs out there are just flying blindly before they're submitting things. Okay. So let's jump to our next slide here. Okay. Again, you have good credit, but you're getting denied. This is where people get frustrated, right? They say, but my score is good. Why am I getting denied? It doesn't make sense. So your score is good, but you got denied. Let's make it make sense. What does the rest of your profile look like? Think about what we mentioned a little bit earlier. All right. So you got high utilization. You might have a 700 credit score and you still be using about 80% of your available credit. To a lender, that looks like you're already in trouble. To a lender, you got a $5,000 business credit card. If you ain't even business funding yet, that's different. But let's say you got a $5,000 business credit card and you've already spent like 4,000. To a lender, you're exceeded. That's not looking too high on a personal level for sure, right? You want to keep everything low when it comes down to your utilization. Too many inquiries. We talked about that, right? What does that look like? You shop here, you shop there, you shopping everywhere. Too many inquiries. You've applied here and then you got rejected, and then you go apply there and then you get rejected. Every application, right? It leaves a trail, and that's what they're looking at. And the lenders see the whole trail when you are applying for credit. Again, that thin profile area, if your profile is thin with no banking relationships, no track record, no debt, the banks can't actually evaluate what they can't see. They can't evaluate it, and when a bank can't see what you've done, they don't fund you. They do not fund you. You might think that you look good or everything looks fine on your credit profile, but to a lender, you look unpredictable. And what the banks do is they avoid what is considered to be unpredictable. Okay. Now, if any of this, I know I've been talking for a minute, but if any of this sound like your situation, let me get you guys to go ahead and type me in the comment. I'm watching right now. Go ahead and type me in the comments, and let me see if that's your situation. Comment me in the comment area, and that lets me know what's going on, who we have on this call, and what the situation is. Okay. All right, I got you. So let's go ahead and move forward. What do we got here? Most people apply too early, right? Let me give you a number, so to speak. One out of three business owners with a good credit score, they still get denied. 1 out of 3. That's your number. 1 in 3 still get denied. And it's not because their score is bad. It's not because their score is bad. It's because of structure. Because of how their profile is built. How their profile is built is everything. And because of timing, behavior, and then their banking relationships. So that's what I mean by when I say most people, they apply too early. Most people, they apply too early. That's the simplicity of it. And it's crazy that they do, But it's also one of those things where if you don't know, then how could you avoid it? Right? Like you gotta know this in order to be able to master this. And that's what we're here for. So if you're familiar with this, let me hear you say, let me see you type in that chat familiar. Or just type in I know. Just type in I know. Let me see you I know. Let me see those come in. Okay. All right, so let's move on to this next one here. What do we got here? Let's talk about this framework. Okay, keep this in mind. You've been chasing the wrong thing, right? You're not understanding how they look at everything. We talked about like your structure, how that plays a part into things. We talked about how you may think you look good, but your profile is a little rusty, right? Your score is considered to be the distraction for you, right? I mentioned that earlier. Um, Now you're chasing the wrong thing. You think that your score is good, and everything's okay. But let's talk about this, right? Let's go a little bit further. I want to show you something. Think of it like this: two business owners, right? Same credit score. Two business owner, same credit score. One gets approved and one gets denied. One gets approved and one gets denied. Now, the one who got denied, right? Uh, Random applications, high inquiries, no relationship and no structure. High inquiries, no relationship, no structure. The opposite of that is that the one who got approved, they got a structured profile, they got low risk behavior, and they applied at the right time. They applied at the right time and they got a relationship, right? They got a relationship. So at this point, the approval is not luck for those that got approved. It's really about the structure. It's really about the structure. Now, here's the thing: architecture, it can be learned. Architecture, it can be learned. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you is how to build. So, build your blueprint is everything. That's what we're doing. I am offering coaching. I do have the blueprint that is available for anyone that's interested. All you got to do is comment the words blueprint, comment coaching here in the chat, and I'll be happy to reach out to you. Be happy to, make you even an offer before this is over with, so that you can see how we can change the game when it comes down to your funding. Okay? This is where we're going with this. So banking relationships are important. Your business structure is important. Your personal profile is important. This is your approval framework. And then your timing. It's all about your timing. When do you submit? When is the right time to apply? That is important. Okay? Very important when it comes down to getting business funding. So let me ask you something directly for everybody here that's watching this and that's on this call. Do you actually know what, like a business profile, what your profile looks like to a lender right now? Do you know what your profile looks like? Not what you think it looks like, but do you know exactly what it looks like? Let me see you comment in the chat. I know. I know. Comment in chat. I know exactly what my profile looks like. All right. So what I'm talking like what it actually says. And here's the thing: most entrepreneurs, they don't know. They don't know exactly what their profile looks like. They just assume and they guess. Yeah, they're guessing. They really don't know exactly what's going on with their profile. Um, yeah, they're paying. They pay for that guess with the denial. That's what it is. That's what it is. Yeah, they pay for that guessing. That's what it is. Yeah, yeah, and that's the gap. That's the gap that I built. That the business funding blueprint is that the business funding blueprint tells you exactly what's required in order for you to get that business funding, and that's what's going to keep you in the game. All right, this is the exact system that I used to show entrepreneurs years ago on how to get funding, what their profile actually looks like, what's holding them back, and how to fix it if there's any issues there that we need to fix. And this is before they ever even touch an application. That's what the blueprint is. Yep. Making sure that everybody got their game and they don't go in blindly before they submit an application. That's what the the funding, what do we got it? We call it the funding start ready blueprint. Oh, the quick start funding blueprint. Yeah. That blueprint is available for anybody that wants it. We got it available for you. Like I said, I'll make that offer today and you have access to it. Okay. And that quick start funding blueprint, it comes with a couple things, and we'll kind of go over that here shortly. All right. So what do we have next here? Right. We're talking about, let me see here, the same score, different results. We talked about that. You got approval, you got denied, you got structured, you got time, you got aligned, and then you got the person that's just getting denied. What they're doing is they're processing and they're applying randomly. They're rushing their process, right? They're not making sure that they do it the correct way. They're exposed. Okay, they're exposed is what it is. All right. So here's what it is. What's inside this business funding blueprint? I'm gonna tell you like this. You got your profile breakdown. You see exactly how the lenders read your file, not how you see it. Is how they see it. Okay. You got the risk analysis. The risk analysis, we identify everything that's going to be a trigger, right? That's going to be a red flag. We're going to identify everything on your profile that shows that. Okay. So that you can fix it before you even go apply. You can fix it before it even costs you your approval. How about that? And then you have the structural review. Structural review. And your entity, how that's structured properly, whether or not there's anything that needs to be corrected there. Your banking setup, that's important. That's what's in the blueprint as well. And then your positioning. All of this is reviewed and mapped. Yeah, I don't want to leave you hanging. So yeah, type in the words blueprint if that's what you're interested in. You want the blueprint. Let me see you message that there. Blueprint in the chat that you're interested in the blueprint. And I'll make sure that we go over the blueprint price. Blueprint, 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 blueprint. Okay. See what else we got on here. All right. So the price. Most people want to know, like, well, what is it? What is the price for the blueprint? It's pretty simple. You can reach out anytime, but right now for this call, for anybody that's on this call that's interested, we only charge $97 for this blueprint. $97. It's a simple blueprint. Um, this is the way to avoid guessing. This is you getting structured, right? Your profile review, excuse me, your risk eliminated. We do what we call a lender match. We set you up with a lender, and when you apply with purpose. You apply with purpose, and this is not a game. This is serious, right? The $97 is priced this way on purpose, right? Because I don't want to price it to where for it to be a reason to where someone goes in and they're trying to get funding and then doing it blindly. That's why I made it affordable, easy, $97. $97 priced this way on purpose. Okay. So if you're interested in this blueprint, I'll go ahead and put it in the chat. You can hit the link. You can comment right now or comment the words blueprint, and I'll send it directly to you. If you comment the word blueprint, I'll send this link directly to you in the chat. Okay. Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So got you here. So I see. Thank you for putting that in there. I see Sarah. I see you just grabbed it. Welcome, Sarah, to the blueprint. This is good. Welcome, Scott. I got you. Welcome, Scott. You got the blueprint. Yeah, type in the words blueprint. I see them coming in. Yeah, type in the word blueprint, and for those who wants it, who's serious about this, and they're ready to move forward. Blueprint, again, I made it affordable. It's only $97. You get the blueprint. You also get that consultation call that we offer, like a 15-30-minute call, I think it is. Yeah, 15 to 30 minutes. You get that call with us. We go over everything that we discuss here, making sure that you're structured properly. And then we set you up with a bank. We actually do bank placement. Yeah, we set you up with a bank rep, and make sure that you get access to this funding and things. Okay. She said, don't forget. Okay. So that's what you get for the $97, right? I want to make sure we're clear on what comes into that, right? You got, for some of you, this blueprint is going to be exactly what you need. You'll take it, you'll implement it, and you'll be positioned correctly. Yep, you'll take it, you'll implement it, you'll be positioned correctly. But some of you that are watching, right? You're watching this and you're just thinking, I don't want to figure this out alone. I'm ready to go. Let me repeat that again. Some of you are watching this and you're thinking, I don't want to figure this out alone. Right? So the simplicity of it is that's where I come in directly. That's where me and my team come in directly, right? In order for you to have access to this blueprint, right? So again, I do offer coaching, mentioned that earlier, to make sure you get to the bag, so to speak, to make sure you get your funding. I do offer coaching there. We do have this blueprint that's available for you. Okay. Like I told you, I do have that one-on-one program where we build your profile together. I look at everything, your personal credit profile, also look at your business structure, and then your banking setup. And I map out exact funding strategy for you. Me and my team, we're doing this step by step. Nope. I see. Yeah, you don't guess. You don't apply randomly, and you execute a plan that's built exactly, specifically for your situation. Specifically for your situation, that's what we're doing on a one-on-one coaching. So again, the blueprint is for you. You got access to it. You can use it. You can follow it. You can go apply yourself, but it takes out the guesswork. That's only 97 bucks. The one-on-one coaching that we're offering, that's a higher tier product. But again, it's one-on-one. We're walking you through the program. We're doing multiple bank matching. So that's available. So anybody that's on this call, if you're interested in that one-on-one coaching program, go ahead and type in 101. Let me see you put that in the chat. 101. 101. Yep, 101. Yep, one-on-one coaching is available for anyone. But yeah, the blueprint helps. It's only 97 bucks and you can get it. Yep, you can figure it. I want to say you can figure it out, but at least you have the structure. You still get the 15-minute call. I think it's 15, yeah, it's 15, 30 minutes. And then we'll go ahead and go through your whole structure outline, making sure that your profile is structured properly. We do your risk analysis, structure your review, do the bank placement, and your funding strategy. You're getting all of that. Okay. What am I missing here? Yeah, no guesswork. So if you want to work directly with me, go ahead and comment the word coaching, or go ahead and put 101. 101 coaching. Okay. All right. So in closing, stop guessing, start structuring. That's the name of the game, right? Before I let you go, I would tell you like this. I want to leave you with some game. One thing I need you to take from tonight is you are not getting denied because of your score. That's just not how it works. You are getting denied because of your structure. Yeah. Yep. You are getting denied because of your structure. So the blueprint is there in the link in the chat. $97 for tonight. Feel free to take advantage of it. Again, if you want that one-on-one coaching, you got action. If for whatever reason, if anybody missed this and they still want it, comment the word blueprint. If you want me to send it directly to you, and I'll go ahead and send it to you for $97. And if you want to work together again with the one-on-one coaching, comment the word coaching or one-on-one, and I'll come to you and I'll make sure you're set up properly and we are straight. Okay. Don't forget, stop guessing, start structuring, and you're going to make it. You're going to get your business funding. All right. So this is Robin Your Way. Thank everybody for joining today. I look forward to working with everybody, and I will see you guys on the next one. Make sure what? Okay, yeah, it's in there. All right, I'll see you guys on the next one. Later.